Former Vice President Biden indicates that we should have psychologists employed by the police departments to go out on 911 calls with police officers.
That's why we have to provide within police departments psychologists and social workers to go out with the cops on those calls, some of those 911 calls.
I don't know how realistic that is. It sounds great, but it's a talking point. Let's take a look at what it looks like to have a psychologist employed at a large police department. My experience of this is very limited to the one agency and one situation that I know about. So there's certainly a multitude of circumstances that could affect this, and it's a really complex problem. When I was employed at the sheriff's office, I was attending night school to earn my bachelor's degree. My psychology professor, James Herndon, was a PhD psychologist. Earlier in his career, he worked at the sheriff's office full-time as their psychologist. He ran the hostage negotiation team. He created the Critical Incident Response Team, CIST. That's the situation where you respond to people with mental health crisis. He trained up dozens and dozens and dozens of police officers in responding to people in crisis. And he responded to high-risk incident command scenarios, HRIC is what they call it, a SWAT call out, that type of thing. He responded to those to be the on-scene expert psychologist. He did that, not to mention all the additional employee-related wellness issues. Well, after this system was set into place, he was kind of given the boot. Now, I don't know the details behind that, how that went down, but to think that we're going to employ psychologists to take 911 calls with police officers, that's crazy. What are they going to do different? Just about every call the police officers go to involves some type of crazy to one extent or another, or else the police wouldn't be called in the first place. Almost all crimes have some degree of crazy in them. He also mentioned community policing. Community service officers are a thing. We are employing more community service officers than ever before. In fact, Monday, I'm releasing a video on a DUI where I cross-examine a community service officer in her role in a DUI investigation. She's going to lay out the statute, where her authority comes from, and we're going to go in depth into that. Check that video out. Think I'm coming out Monday. I'll put a link to it here. Hit hard, guys.